If you're contemplating relocating to Fort Lauderdale, then this guide was made for you. I've had conversations with numerous people who have successfully made the move, people that I've helped myself, and I've put together some of the best practices and tips that they've used during their relocation journey. Here we go. All right, let's be real. Moving can be stressful. Whether it's 10 miles away or 1,000 miles away, it can be stressful. And so what I wanna know is if you've made the move to Fort Lauderdale recently, or maybe you're thinking about making it, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced or you're currently facing? Let us know in the comments. But this video is your guide to relocating to Fort Lauderdale. And so what I've done is broken it down into 4 different sections, which is the research phase, self-discovery, home tours, and the buying process. So let's dive into each one of these right now. So the research phase, it's gonna be different for everybody. Most people start when they're about 6 months to a year out, but there are those select few people that maybe they're getting a job transfer and they need to find a place to live in 3 months. Just know that the further out that you start this research phase, the higher the chances that things are gonna change in the market. But this is gonna be that phase where you start to do research online and just try to find out what the lifestyle is like and what it's like to actually live in Fort Lauderdale. You can watch my videos. You can also check out some of the Reddit channels like the Fort Lauderdale one to get the point of view from people who have actually made the move. Just search moving in the search bar. And then I recommend joining multiple local Facebook groups, shameless plug like the one that I just started, which you can find the link in the description. But you can chat with locals, other people who are currently making the move, so that way you can get their perspective too. But out of these groups of people that you don't know, the best option is obviously gonna be friends and family. If you're lucky enough to have friends and family who already live here or who have even better, recently made the move down here. So if you have that option, talk to people you trust, people you already know. And then I also recommend using some free tools like cost of living calculator to plug in your current income and see how much you have to make here in order to maintain the same lifestyle you have now. Another good option is an affordability calculator, and Zillow and Redfin both have one. And basically you just plug in your income, get a base idea of what your budget's gonna get you, or what the monthly payment on a home would be. Again, this is not actually getting pre-approved, but it's a pretty good baseline to start with. You can also use Redfin or Zillow to just check out the current housing market. But again, if you're 6 to 12 months out, things are likely gonna change. And the last part of this phase is figuring out who's gonna be your eyes and ears down here, who's gonna be your go-to team, who's gonna help you navigate this experience from afar. There's over like 60,000 realtors, I think, just in the Miami Association alone, but not all of them specialize in relocation. And we'd love to be the team to help you. We love making these videos exactly for this reason right here, to help cut the learning curve and to give you something that I didn't have when I moved out here 4.5 years ago. But more importantly than making these videos, we'd love the opportunity to hear from you and earn your real estate business. So give us a call, text, or email. We'd be happy to help. Okay, so the next phase is gonna be the discovery phase, or the neighborhoods and homes phase. So now that you've watched my videos, read some forums, kind of got a sense of what life could be like down here, now is when we would hop on a Zoom call and we start to prioritize those initial wants and needs in an area first, and then a home second. So the goal here is not only to find the best areas that actually match your wants and needs, but to rule out the ones that you absolutely hate. And the reason I always recommend looking at areas first is because it's the one thing that you can't change about your move. If you've watched my channel enough, you've probably heard me say this before, but you can change a kitchen, you can change a bathroom, but you can't pick the home up and change the location. So this part is very, very crucial that you get your areas of interest dialed in before you even start looking at homes. And I know how it goes. People love to shop on Zillow, so chances are you're gonna be looking at homes anyway before you really do know the areas. And when you do, let me just give you a quick little tip. Utilize Google Maps Street View. Almost every client that I've worked with has been guilty of this, looking at homes before knowing what areas they wanna live in, and that's okay. We all love shopping online, but you may come across the perfect home and it checks every single box, and you notice that it's priced $200,000 less than the other similar homes, and you think jackpot. Use that Google Street View because there's a good chance that this home may be in an industrial area or right next to a highway or on a very busy and loud main road. But whatever it is, if you feel yourself getting starstruck over the perfect home that's priced way below other similar homes that you see, this little hack will probably give you the reason why. But the absolute best way to navigate this discovery phase is to actually plan a trip down here and experience it for yourself, not a vacation. Let's say you pick your top 3 areas of interest, spend one day in each of those areas and experience it from the viewpoint of a local. Drive the highways during rush hour, both of them. Just drive around the city at different times of the day, morning and nighttime. Visit different coffee shops, the mall, just get a feel for what the people are like in that area. This self-discovery tour will teach you more than anything you will find out online. And so at this point, you've narrowed down your areas of interest. Now it's time to get pre-approved and start shopping for homes, whether that be in person or virtually. And this is exactly why that self-discovery tour is very important. Maybe you live an hour away or at least live somewhere in Florida where you can make the trip down here for the weekend to actually look at homes, but for a majority of you, that's just not gonna be the case. You probably live farther away, maybe even out of the country, and it's just not realistic for you to constantly fly down here on weekends or even just for one weekend. And believe it or not, virtual tours are much more common than you may think they are. It's actually how we help probably about 90% of our clients, and we have a very specific way that we conduct these virtual tours to make sure that you know everything there is to know about the house. We're basically gonna tell you everything you need to know that you wouldn't be able to see over a camera. If we smell something, we're letting you know, even if it's just dog or cat smell. Maybe it's not a big deal, but we're still gonna let you know. We're showing you the neighborhood, the drive up to the house, how noisy it is in the area, literally everything, including all the pluses and minuses just based off our initial conversation. And this leads us to the last phase, which is the home buying phase. Now, I know buying a home over FaceTime or virtually, however you wanna look at it, it can be a scary thought, but we have contingencies built into our Florida purchase agreements that will protect you. So at this point, you found the home in the perfect neighborhood, the perfect home that checks all the boxes. More often than not, the best move is to put in an offer and then plan a trip down here once your offer is accepted. In Florida, we have an inspection period, which typically is between like 5 to 10 days. Most common is 7 days. And this is for you to do your due diligence on the home, get an inspection, see the home in person, and decide whether you actually want to move forward or not. And during this period, like I mentioned, whether it's 5 days, 7 days, or 10 days, you will be protected from losing out on your deposit if there is something that the inspection uncovers that you don't like about the home or you want to back out. You do have this grace period and your deposit is protected. And during this time, you will have to pay out of pocket for an inspection and an appraisal, assuming that you do have a loan, otherwise you wouldn't need an appraisal. But that's roughly gonna be about $400 to $600 for each one. And this may be the biggest challenge when doing this virtually, is just getting through this inspection period. And so once we move past the inspection period, pretty much the rest of the process can actually be done virtually. All the way down to the closing, where we can have a mobile notary come to you and you can sign the documents 2,000 miles away in your living room, and then they'll overnight them back to us. The only other thing that you might want to consider being here for, if you choose to or if you're able to, is the final walkthrough, which is usually done on the morning of the closing, sometimes the day before. And it's basically exactly what it sounds like. It's the last time you're gonna walk through the house to make sure that it's either in the same condition that it was when we first saw it, or if we negotiated any repairs to be done, make sure they were done and done properly. Also at this time, check things like the lights, make sure the lights work, the appliances, the outlets, the faucets, things like that. But again, if for some reason you can't make it to the final walkthrough, not an issue, not uncommon at all. I have worked with many clients before who have purchased a home and actually never even stepped foot in the home until after they closed on it and signed their paperwork. Now, I'm not recommending that for everybody, but it's more common than you may think. But if you bought a house before or you know anyone who has, you know that the process can be kind of stressful, but it doesn't have to be. This is why who you partner with is really important. So if you're interested, you can sign up for our discovery session down below, which is a free 30-minute Zoom call with me, where we'll go over your initial wants and needs, come up with a game plan and a timeline. We'll help you navigate this research phase and figure out which areas are best for you, but even more importantly, rule out the ones that you absolutely hate. And if you've already started your research phase and want to discover everything you need to know about the Fort Lauderdale metro area, make sure to check this video out right here. As always, I appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.